Starting up on the pole will be the 608 of Win Bill, U and the 79 of Tom Cook. Row 2, 74 of Paul Doty and 65 of Jeff Hager. Row 3 would be Emerson Cargain and Bobby Taylor. Row 4, Mark Rutherford and Ken Bennett. Row 5, the 17 of Scott Mill and the 51 of Ed Gunch. Row 6, the 75S of Ken Hartshorn and the 357 of Barry Huber. Row number 7, the 73 of Tom Canizero and the 80 of Ed Petro, and Steve Boniface round out the starting lineup. So we're set to go green flag racing this time. The Olsen Todd Oldsmobile Achieva pace car sets them free up in turn number 4. It looks like the Spider-Man, Paul Doty and Tom Cook. They know it's time to go racing, this time off of turn number 4. Green flag flies down the front straightaway. Doty outpowers them off of turn number 4 down towards turn number 1. Tommy Cook keeps it up on the high side as we've got him going 3 and 4 abreast down through the back of the pack right now as Tommy Canizero makes it 3 wide off of turn number 2. Tommy Cook powers off of the high side, grabs the number 1 spot away down towards turn number 3, and here comes Tommy Cook. Now beginning to stretch the margin out between turns number 3 and 4. Paul Doty back in the runner-up spot, keeps it down on the low side with Bobby Taylor right behind in car number 11. Holding on to spot number 3 as they come out to complete lap number 1. Scott Mill, car number 17, looks down to the low side of Bobby Taylor. Back there for spots number 3 and 4. Eddie Gunch glued right to the back bumper. Off of turn number 2, Tommy Cook now beginning to stretch out the margin down towards turn number 3. Holding on to the comfortable number 1 spot by about 10 car lengths. They head between turns number 3 and 4 with Paul Doty. Holding on to the runner-up position down on the low side. Swings it up to the high side, trying to find the fast groove right now. As Scott Mill now swings by Bobby Taylor for spot number 3. Eddie Gunch now enters the top 4 running in order now, looking down to the low side. Look out for Paul Doty down in turn number 2. Problems with the Rocky Acres Farm number 74. Dropping off the pace in between turns number 1 and 2. Keeps it out of harm's way as he's up on the high side now off of turn number 2. Meanwhile, race leader Tom Cook way out front by his lonesome right now. Holding on to a very, very comfortable margin down the front straightaway towards turn number 1. They go with Scott Mill holding on to spot number 2. Now the little right front of that hood now beginning to pop up just a little bit on the 17. Somebody forgot to clip it down nice and tight, but still holding on very, very powerfully to spot number 2 with Eddie Gunch right there for spot number 3. Bobby Taylor fourth, and here comes Tom Canizero. Canizero swings the Jeans Tire Service, number 73 up to the high side, not backing out of it in between turns number 3 and 4, way up high. That leaves the low side out for Kenny Hartshorn. Hartshorn slings the Cameo Flores 75S down to the low side. Side by side they go for spot number 5 down towards turn number 1. Hartshorn grabs the spot. Now look out for Eddie Gunch in turn number 2. Gunch also having problems between turns number 1 and 2 down there. Keeps it up to the high side out of everybody's way. He swings it back down to the low side out of harm's way. Meanwhile, race leader Tommy Cook having a Saturday night cruise out here, making it look real easy up on the front end right now. Holds on to a half a straightaway advantage over second place man Scott Mill. Mill back there in the car number 17 holds on to spot number 2 with Bobby Taylor in spot number 3. Once again, we got him going side by side. Hartshorn up on the high side for spot number 4. Outpowers Canizero off of turn number 2. Down the back straightaway towards turn number 3. Closing right in on number 3 man, Bobby Taylor up there in the Yorktown Auto Body number 11. Meanwhile, off of turn number 4, Tommy Cook making it look real easy here this evening, just stretching out the margin every lap now as he goes between turns number 1 and 2. Look out down the front straightaway. Tommy Canizero doing a little Joey Chitwood in here, making some contact with the inside retaining wall. Straightens it all out. He had a little contact with the 75S of Hartshorn. Hartshorn faring the better of that, finishing up in the 4th place spot right now, and that allows Barry Huber to sneak into the top 5 running order. Tommy Cook, very, very comfortable out on the front end right now with the Whispering Pines Fisher Brothers Chevrolet number 79. Kenny Pettit trying to work himself into the top 5 running order with the Arrowway Chevy Saab Geo number 16. Back there in spot number 6 right now, working over Barry Huber as they go off at turn number 2. Now here comes Kenny Hartshorn. Begins to mount the challenge for spot number 3. In between turns 3 and 4, Hartshorn keeps it up on a highway. Slides it sideways. Not quite the groove he liked right now as they go by. 8 laps down, 2 to go for race leader Tommy Cook. Way out front right now, all by himself as he heads off at turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Scott Mill holding on to the runner-up position with Bobby Taylor rounding out spot number 3. Canizero, after making some contact with the front stretch wall, now worked himself right back up on the back bumper of Kenny Pettit. Off of turn number 2, they go down towards turn number 3. Off of turn number 4, 9 laps down, white flag flies, 4 more left-hand turns, and Tommy Cook comes home with a feature win here this evening. way out front right now. He could probably coast around to the checkered flag right now, but he powers it off of turn number 2, down towards the straightaway. As Hartshorn still trying to find a way to get around Bobby Taylor as they head off of turn number 2 right now. Hartshorn now looks down to the low side, not quite enough, swings it up to the high side, number 3 challenge takeover, maybe off of turn number 3, but coming off of turn number 4 out of Mahopac, New York, the winner of the feature event, the Whispering Pines, 79 of Tommy Cook. Second place, all by himself, would be Scott Mill. Third place, coming down to the wire, it's going to be Bobby Taylor, Kenny Hartshorn fourth, and Barry Huber rounded out the top 5. Tom, you've had a real rough season. You haven't found your way to victory lane. You started up in the front. How's it feel to be back in victory lane?
Actually, I don't do well when I start out front. I go over my head or I jump the start of the race, but today feels good. I'll take it.
Well, you got number 1. You got another race later on this evening. Best of luck to you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, we've been here on the last night that the rookie street stalkers raced here at the Orange County Speedway. Going to Mr. and Mrs. Frank DeRosa on the birth of their new son. We have a car in the parking lot, 2TU663, 2TU663. Your car must be moved. You're blocking someone that has to leave. So as the Olsen Todd Oldsmobile Achieve a pace car sets them free up between turns number 3 and 4. Ken Moulton and John Bill, you know it's time to go racing this time as they hit that little yellow barrel up there in turn number 4. Starter Kenny Marshall got the green flag, pointing them, let's go racing boys as we get side by side off of turn number 4. Snail's pace, green flag being perked up and waved as they come down off of turn number 4. Ken Moulton with a snail's pace start, powers away down to the number 1 position, down towards turn number 1. Don Pomerico down on the low side, trying to work his way into the top 3 running order. Side by side battles it right now with Mike Van Pelt. Van Pelt up on the high side as they go off the turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Looks up to the high side of Craig Eusted as they head down towards turn number 3. Eusted shoots down on the low side of Moulton as they go between turns number 3 and 4. Craig Eusted, your number 1 man, off of turn number 4, powers by, grabs the number 1 spot, but here comes Mike Van Pelt. Van Pelt out of Pine Bush, New York, swings up to the high side. Side by side, we got him going for spot number 1 into turn number 1 right now. Eusted down on the low side. Van Pelt keeps it up on the high side. The high side's been the fast way all night. He powers off the turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Moulton tries to follow suit, also swings up to the high side with the forward power plant, 23.5. Hangs on to spot number 3 with Don Pomerico, 4, then Paul Bryson, rounding out the top 5. Off of turn number 4, race leader Mike Van Pelt holds on to a comfortable margin right now as Eusted holds on to second, but being challenged by Ken Moulton Jr. Tony Lotto, Barry Filipowski trying to work their way through the pack right now as Frank DeRosa does battle with John Arturi. Back in the pack right now, look out for Craig Eusted, gets a little bit crooked, so does Moulton. Everybody a little bit squirrely behind him. That allows Van Pelt to stretch out the number 1 margin. Don Pomerico now leans in hard down on the low side, tries to take over the number 3 spot. Moulton way up high, not handling off of turn number 4 now as they come down the front straightaway. Don Pomerico sneaks by him for spot number 3. Ken Moulton and Paul Bryson side by side for spot number 4. Ken Moulton up on the high side, swings back up to spot number 4. Bryson now back to 5th, and here comes John Arturi back there at spot number 9. Arturi trying to wake his way up through the pack right now, closes right in on the back bumper of Paul Bryson coming off of turn number 4. We're getting ready to complete 4 laps. 4 laps down halfway for Mike Van Pelt. Good battle shaping up in the back now. Tommy Green up on the high side of John Arturi, mixing it up for spot number 6. Arturi keeps it down low. Tommy Green up on the high side, off of turn number 2. Green powers off of the high side. Looking for racing room is now Paul Bryson and Ken Moulton. Mix it up back there for spot number 4. Bryson now swings down to the low side. Everybody looking for racing room as they go 3 abreast. Racing action down off of turn number 3 and 4. Race leader Mike Van Pelt now swinging into the back markers as they head between turns number 1 and 2. Craig Eusted hanging on to the runner-up spot. The caution is out around the speedway. Ken Moulton was 4th and Paul Bryson round out the top 5. So John Arturi and Frank DeRosa rejoining at the tail end of the field. Caution light gets turned out. Race safe systems get turned off. The Olsen Todd Oldsmobile Achieva pace car sets them free up in turn number 3. Mike Van Pelt, he took the lead on lap number 2. He's held on to it so far 3 more times around. Mike, a 2-time feature already in 1992. Very, very quick out here this year in the Sienna's Auto Sales, 112. Now he's got Craig Husted right behind him as they come off at turn number 4. Green flag flies and we're back to racing. Mike Van Pelt powers away down towards turn number 1, holding onto a very comfortable margin at the moment. Here comes Ken Moulton Jr. Ken Moulton Jr. got the Illinois Auto Recyclers, 23.5 up to the high side, takes over spot number 3, swings it way up high, keeps it side by side with Craig Husted for spot number 2 as they go down towards turn number 3. Moulton out of Rock Hill, New York, keeps the forward power play at 23.5 up on the high side. Battling it out right now with Craig Husted, gets it just a little bit out of shape. Husted now pulls away off at turn number 4. For 2 laps to go. 6 laps down and 2 to go for race leader Mike Van Pelt between turns number 1 and 2. Good racing going on back there for spots 4, 5, and 6. Tony Loto now enters the top 5 running order with the Trailer King 711. Back there on spot number 5 right now. Here comes Don Tomarico just ahead. Moulton now not having his handling the way he'd like it. He's fallen way, way back with the white flag flying. 7 laps down, 1 to go, and it's Paul Mike Van Pelt way out front right now. Paul Bryson now running back at spot number 2 with Craig Husted third. Don Tomarico spot number 4. And Barry Filipowski and Tony Loto, both multi-time feature winners, trying to get a top 5 finish here. Loto keeps it up to the high side, swings it up, down, and as they go towards turn number 3. Takes over spot number 4, closes in quickly on Husted, but getting set to come off at turn number 4 out of Pine Bush, New York. With the Sienna's Auto Sales, number 112, third feature win in the 1992 season for Mike Van Pelt. Second is Paul Bryson, third Craig Husted, fourth Tony Loto, and fifth Don Pomerico. Row number 4, the 41 of Mike Weed and the 34 of Chris DuBois. Row 5, the 65 of John Hager and the 72 of Jim Cancel. Row 6, the 11 of Bill Pasquale and the 19 of Jeff Hyham. Row number 7, the 37L of Lee Krutz and the 95 of Rusty Granick. So Kara Pikett back there in the back end and Carol Burschwell, number 90. So we're set to go green flag racing here as the Olsen Todd Oldsmobile Achieva pace car sets them free up between turns number 3 and 4. Danny Hedges and Jimmy Van Anden side by side. They hit the giddy up. Go ahead mark up in turn number 4. Green flag set to fly as they come down the front straightaway, and we go. Danny Hedges very, very slow off the mark here, but everybody goes side by side down toward turn number 1. Jimmy Van Anden out of Stormville, New York, grabs the number 1 spot away. As Russ Huson now swings up to the high side, taking over spot number 2. Here comes Dayton Guiney back there with the Minis Restaurant. 413 gets it out of shape just a little bit. Gathers it all up down here as they go down between turns number 3 and 4. Off at turn number 4, Russ Huson, now your new race leader, takes number 1 spot away. Jimmy Van Anden now looks back down on the low side as they head down between turns number 1 and 2. Dayton Guiney holds on to third. Pat Runo 4th, then Mike Weed now swings into the top 5 running order. Kara Pikett in the former Carol Bushwell 90, not too quick out here tonight, but way in the back of the pack right now. Russ Huson, meanwhile, goes between turns number 3 and 4, holding on to the number 1 spot. Jimmy Van Anden trying to close the gap, but not enough there, and here comes Dayton Guiney. Dayton Guiney out of Hawthorne, New York, hangs on to spot number 3 right now, closing in very, very quickly on Jimmy Van Anden for spot number 2. Pat Runo hangs on to spot number 4, and Craig Braun now into the top 5 running order. Braun now closing in very quickly on Pat Runo as they head down the back straightaway. Runo hanging on to spot number 4, but here comes Craig Braun. Braun now looks up to the high side as they head between turns number 3 and 4. Off at turn number 4 down the front straightaway. Back markers now come into play as they head down between turns number 1 and 2. Russ Huson now picks up the number 1 spot. Going by the lap traffic right now, Jimmy Van Anden second. And third is Dayton Guiney off of turn number 4. Good battle for spot number 4 right now. Pat Runo holds on to it, but here comes Braun up on the high side. Craig Braun swings by, takes over spot number 4 as they head down into turn number 3. Jeff Hyham, feature winner last week, follows suit, now enters the top 5 running order. Halfway, 4 laps down and 4 to go for Russ Huson out of Portsboro, New York. 1 feature win in the 1992 season already on opening night here at the Orange County Speedway. Hanging on to the number 1 spot very comfortably right now with Jimmy Van Anden trying to close the gap off of turn number 2 as they head down the back straightaway. Dayton Guiney right there for spot number 3, trying to work up behind Jimmy Van Anden as they both begin to close in just a little bit on leader Russ Usan off of turn number 4. Dayton Guiney now swings down to the low side, trying to take over the number 2 spot. Dayton Guiney out of Hawthorne, New York, swings down to the low side, takes over spot number 2. Jimmy Van Anden tries to answer the call up on the high side. Off of turn number 2, Guiney just a little bit out of shape. Van Anden puts the right foot down a little harder, swings by him and takes the runner-up spot back away as Guiney falls back to spot number 3. Craig Braun would be back in spot number 4, then Jimmy Cancel in the Apple Restoration, number 72, hangs on to spot number 5. Off of turn number 4, 6 laps down and 2 to go for race leader Russ Usan. Dayton Guiney now squeezes by as they head down towards turn number 1. Takes over the runner-up spot, got a lot of ground to cover if he's going to make a challenge. The number 1 man, Russ Usan, off of turn number 2, glued right to the back bumper of Guiney, comes Jimmy Van Anden, heading down into turn number 3. Coming off of turn number 4, comes the 172 of Russ Usan. Usan hangs on to the number 1 spot down towards turn number 1. Here comes Dayton Guiney trying to close the gap as they go between turns number 1 and 2. Look out for Jimmy Van Anden running in third all by himself. Got it crooked down there in turn number 2. Getting set to come off at turn number 4. Checkered flag set to fly. Your feature winner, the 172, Russ Usan. Second, Dayton Guiney. Third place would be Craig Braun. Fourth, Jimmy Cancel. And fifth, Jeff Highhand. Out of Wardsboro, New York, brings the PNC Trucking number 172 back out into victory lane. Second time for him in the 1992 season. So as Mike Van Pelt manhandles the Sienna's auto number 112 back down in here into victory lane. We're going to get closer to the front than you normally do. Do you think that helped you out this evening?
That was a really good start. The guys kept it clean. I was able to get on the high side, run up on the top, and I was able to bring her home and thank Neil and Frank Sienna for this. And I want to thank my crew, Tom and Tim and Buck, that have been busting their butt, changing tires because we don't have much money, so we got to flip tires and springs and everything around this car. Thank Murph for the tire deal that we're getting and to get us here.
Well, the hard work sure seems to be paying off. How many feature wins for you so far?
This is 3, and that's 3, and I hope we get a lot more.
Well, so far, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
All right, Mike Van Pelt, who picked up victory number 3. Son, not quite familiar with this victory lane stuff. He's been here once before in the 92 season as he puts all the hardware away. Russ, how'd the car feel?
I got some bugs worked out of it, so it's feeling pretty good now.
Well, in your first year of racing, you picked up 2 wins. How's that make you feel?
Great, great. Hope there's more to come.
Well, you ran good. Congratulations on a great race.
Thank you very much.
Of course, right after this will be the second Dirt Sportsman feature, followed by the Novice Street Stock feature. That'll be the nightcap here tonight at the Orange County Speedway. Jr., the Wild Thing from right here in Middletown, New York, on the inside of row number 2. Caution lights have now been turned out. The Olsen Todd Oldsmobile, a Chiva pace car, swings down to the inside. Don Elliott, first-year driver here at the Orange County Speedway. Going to try and make a career win number 1 out here tonight. Here we come, out of turn number 4 this time. Stoner Kenny Marshall got the green flag in hand. The green flag flies, and here we go. The Rave Auto Body car grabs the number 1 spot, works on the outside, but here comes Don Smith down the back straightaway. Donnie Smith in a number 77 car, motoring down the back chute right down the number 2 spot. Down to the inside, the 359 car. Jeff Carr picks up spot number 2, but the yellow lights come on. Problems down there in turn number 1. Yellow lights coming on. The 21 junior of Gary Edwards losing a grip on the 12th and beat the Yankees 5-3. Travis in the 28 car, also involved in the mishap down there in turn number 2. Travis, of course, brought to us this year by Kneisel Speed and Sport. A very sleek dirt sportsman car. Caution lights have now been turned out. The Olsen Todd Oldsmobile Achieva pace car going to swing down to the inside. Set to go back to racing this time. Don Elliott Jr., the Rave Auto Body 49 car, brings that back of dirt sportsman down there in turns number 3 and 4. Here we come, coming out of turn number 4 this time. The green flag flies, and here we go. Jeff Kerr on the outside. Picks up the number 1 spot over Don Elliott. Elliott swings up to the outside this time. 3 abreast, looking for spot number 2, going down the back straightaway. Jim Truitt Sr., the high-powered 318 car. Here comes J.D. Taylor to the inside. Taylor closed his eyes, made it 3 abreast down the back straightaway. Now picks up spot number 2. Taylor on the outside, but here comes Jim Truitt Sr. coming down the home straightaway. Truitt battling right now with Greg Slate. Greg Slate back there on the inside, spot number 3. J.D. Taylor goes up to the high side. Elliott slams the second turn concrete. Caution light's going to come out. Caution lights on around the speedway for the number 49 car. Don Elliott Jr. tapped that second turn wall quite hard. Right for Truitt in the 318 machine. Row number 2, it's Greg Slade and J.D. Taylor. Olsen Todd Oldsmobile Achieva pace car swings back down to the inside. We're set to go back to green flag racing. 3 down, 9 to go. The first of 2 dirt sportsman feature events. Here we come on a turn number 4 this time. The green flag flies. We go racing. Jeff Carr back to lead, but here comes Jim Truitt Sr. on the outside. Truitt very strong on the outside line, coming out of turn number 2, heading down the back straightaway. And Jim Truitt Sr. grabs the number 1 spot. Truitt grabs the lead. Jeff Carr second. Greg Slate back there in third. And J.D. Taylor, the male pack Pepsi-Cola car, back in spot number 4. Caution lights is on. Yellow lights on. Lead 4 down, 8 to go. Brannick, by the way, out of Monroe, New York, a former modified runner here at the Orange County Speedway. Green flags coming back down. We're back to racing. Jim Truitt Sr. wasting no time, grabbing back the number 1 spot. J.D. Taylor in the Pepsi-Cola car, back there in spot number 2. They motor down the back straightaway. Greg Slate coming alive, back there in spot number 4. Slate under the inside of Jeff Carr for spot number 3 right now. Jim Truitt Sr. holds on to the lead. Truitt brings that pack of dirt sportsman down on a turn number 4. Truitt down the home straightaway, holds on to the lead. J.D. Taylor is second. Greg Slate back there in spot number 3. Jeff Carr back in spot number 4, and here comes Stevie Birchwell on the outside. Birchwell going down the back straightaway now. The John Binsky's garage car makes a break into the top 5 running order. Coming up on the halfway point this time. 6 laps down and 6 to go for the race leader, Jim Truitt Sr. Truitt with a comfortable lead right now over second spot runner J.D. Taylor. Taylor back there in the runner-up position. Greg Slate third, and Stevie Birchwell, a man of the move on the outside as he picks up spot number 4. Birchwell now back there in the number 4 spot. Jeff Carr running back there in spot number 5. Bill Haley running back in spot number 6 right now in the 99H car. Jim Truitt Sr. holds on to the lead. J.D. Taylor is second this time. Birchwell drops down to the inside against Greg Slate. Birchwell picks up spot number 3. Greg Slate now back in spot number 4. Slate, the Jefferson Valley collision car, battling with Birchwell down the back straightaway. Caution lights coming on, yellow lights on around the speedway. The 00 junior car of Ray Ackerley dropping off the pace, going down the back straightaway. Cannot quite make it back into the pit area under his own power. That's going to bring out the yellow file restart. The Olsen Todd Oldsmobile pace car drops down to the inside, set to go back to racing 4 more times around the Orange County Speedway for the first of 2 world-class dirt sportsman features. Back to racing once again, and Jim Truitt wasting no time at all, securing that number 1 spot. J.D. Taylor takes to the outside. Stevie Birchwell back there in the 33 car. Birchwell, a 4-time feature winner here in 1992 so far. Greg Slate back there in spot number 4. Bill Haley rides in spot number 5. Jeff Carr runs back in spot number 6. Watch J.D. Taylor work on the outside right now, coming out of turn number 4. Jim Truitt gives it always dart coming down the home straightaway. Taylor cannot close up the door. Taylor back there in the number 2 spot. Stevie Birchwell is third. Birchwell getting quicker and quicker as time goes on. Taylor goes to the outside, going down the back straightaway. That opens up the door for Steve Birchwell. Birchwell down the back straightaway, drops down to the inside line to pick up the number 2 spot against J.D. Taylor. Coming up on 2, laps to go, 2 to go this time around. Watch the battle back there for spot number 2 between Stevie Birchwell. Birchwell now takes over spot number 2. Jim Stewart Sr. holds on to the lead. Steve Birchwell back there in the 2nd spot. J.D. Taylor is 3rd. Greg Slate 4th. And Bill Haley back in spot number 5. White flag going to fly this time. White flag coming out. Jim Stewart Sr. knows the hot shoe right there behind him. The 33 car, Steve Birchwell. One more time around. 5/8 of a mile to victory. And Jim Stewart Sr. holding on. A one-feature win this year, looking to make it number 2. Stevie Birchwell gives it all he's got, going down the back straightaway. Watch Birchwell try to reel in race leader. Yellow lights come on. Caution lights come out. Problems down there in turn number 4. One car stop on the outside. His second Dirt Sportsman feature win here in 1992. Right behind him in the shadow, 4-time feature winner this year, the 33 car, Stevie Birchwell, the John Pinsky's Garage Special, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Birchwell going to give it all he's got back there in the runner-up spot. J.D. Taylor 3rd, Bill Haley 4th, Greg Slate back in spot number 5. Caution lights get turned out, the Olsen Todd Oldsmobile pace car back down to the inside. Jim Tewitt Sr. brings that back down there in 3 and 4. Tewitt looks for the green flag coming out of turn number 4 this time. 4 more left turns, he got himself a checker flag, and Tewitt's not going to look back. Down in turns number 1 and 2 to go. Tewitt goes down to the inside. Birchwell tries to look up to the outside. Birchwell rim rides out of turn number 2, and he winds up the button going down the back straightaway. Tewitt on the inside. Birchwell tries to find the outside. Here comes Birchwell down in 3 and 4. Checkered flag getting ready to drag race down the start-finish line. Tewitt on the inside. Birchwell on the outside. The feature win going out to Stevie Birchwell. Jim Tewitt second. J.D. Taylor third. Bill Haley is fourth. And Greg Slate of Stevie Birchwell. Second spot. A good run out here tonight for the number 318 car of Jim Tewitt Sr. Third, the number 6 of J.D. Taylor. Fourth, the number 96. Their pole sitter, the 24 car of Billy Green. Alongside number 3, the 20K car, Kevin Van Valkenburg. And the 75 of Floyd Rose. Row number 4, the 90 of Carol Birchwell. And the 517 of Bob Ryder. Row number 5, the 8 of Tom Perego. And the 09 of Jim Palmer. Row number 6, the 26 of Tommy Meyer, the M car, the McDonald's car, Lenny Bogart. 7th row, the 18 of Bobby Knight, and the 56 of Al Bankale. Row number 8, the 08 of Jackie DuBois, and the 254 of Kevin Vanderveen. Row number 9, the 74 car, Ryan Stortini, and the 41 of Elmer Sears. Followed back in row number 10 by the T car, Brian Timko. Well, that's it. They're set to go right now for the second 12th. Caution lights have been turned out. Billy Green, the Green's Auto Body 24 car, your pole sitter. Keith Nonamaker on the outside, the 61D, the Olsen Todd Oldsmobile Achieva pace car. Swings back down to the inside, ready for the start. The second Dirt Sportsman feature event. Here we come. Down there in turns number 3 and 4. Starter Kenny Marshall looks him over good and proper now as they come out of turn number 4. Billy Green knows it's time to go racing. The hammers go down, and here we go. Billy Green wasting no time at all, grabbing the number 1 spot. Nonamaker on the outside. Eddie Redner, the SOS Buells car, back there in spot number 3. Mike Malone down the back straightaway right now on the number 5 car for spot number 4. And Kevin Van Valkenburg back there in spot number 5. Van Valkenburg feels heat right now from the 90 car of Carol Birchwell. Birchwell drops down to the inside, coming out of turn number 4. Carol Birchwell tries to make a break for the top 5 running order against Kevin Van Valkenburg and Tommy Perego. Keith Nonamaker under the inside against feature leader Billy Green. Green gives it all he's got down the back straightaway right now. Holds on to the lead. Keith Nonamaker is second. Eddie Redner third. Carol Birchwell fourth, and a whole lot of racing going on down the back straightaway. Mike Pallone dropped off the pace. Something wrong with Pallone's car. He heads back to the pit area right now. A lot of drivers holding on for all they had right there to get by Pallone. Billy Green holds on to the lead right now. Keith Nonamaker is second. Eddie Redner third, Carol Birchwell is fourth. Kevin Van Valkenburg battling with Tom Perego back there for spot number 5. Van Valkenburg, the Rolling Thunder car, working well on the outside. Perego, the RCR car, back on the inside. Yellow lights come on. Caution lights come out. The number 08 car, Jackie DuBois. boys dropping off the pace coming down the home straightaway, and that brings out the yellow right now. Tom Perego runs back there in spot number 4. Carol Birchwell is 5th. And Kevin Van Valkenburg rides back there in spot number 6. Caution lights get turned out. Olsen Town Oldsmobile achieve a pace car. Drops down to the inside. Set to go back to racing, dirt sportsman style, out here on Tire House night at the Orange County Speedway. Coming out of turn number 4 this time, the green flag flies, the headers go down, and we go back to racing. Down the home straightaway, Green back to the number 1 spot. Billy Green center lines it down there in turns number 1 and 2. Eddie Render on the inside against Keith Nonemaker. Down the back straightaway, the motor. Tom Perego, the RCR excavating car, up onto the outside of Eddie Render right now, looking for spot number 3. Perego, out of New Windsor, New York, holds on to that 4th spot. Render down to the inside, the SOS Fuels car. Billy Green holds on to the lead coming down straightaway. Nonemaker still second. Carol Birchwell back there in spot number 5, but here comes Tommy Meyer on the outside, the International Motor Plazas car. Meyer back there in spot number 6, Birchwell on the inside for spot number 5. Redner bobbles going down the back straightaway. Billy Green holds on to the lead, Nonemaker second. Redner tries to pull on to the inside of Perego for spot number 3. Down the home straightaway, Keith Nonemaker holds on to the number 2 spot. Tommy Perego now pulls up to the outside. Billy Green holds on to the lead right now. Nonemaker second, Tom Perego third, Eddie Redner fourth. Here comes Tommy Meyer on the outside. 3 abreast down the back straightaway right now as Carol Birchwell drops off the pace. Coming up on the halfway point this time. 6 laps down and 6 to go for race leader Billy Green. 3 abreast down the home straightaway once again as they all battle for spot number 4. Billy Green holds on to the lead. Nonemaker second. 3 abreast once again down there in turns number 1 and 2. 3 cars look for the number 3 spot going down the back straightaway. Meyer rocks wheels with Nonemaker going down the back chute. Nonemaker backs out of it, holds on to the number 3 spot. Perego up around the outside for spot number 2. Now, here comes Tommy Meyer down to the inside. Billy Green caught in lap traffic down there in turns number 1 and 2. Tom Perego is second. Bobby Knight now runs back in spot number 3. Tommy Meyer is 4th. Keith Nonemaker back there in spot number 5. Down the back straightaway they go this time. Eddie Redner tries to make a break for the top 5 against Keith Nonemaker. Lap traffic holding things up down there at the back straightaway area, but Redner gets by Nonemaker for spot number 5. Billy Green holds on to the lead. Tommy Knight the second, Tom Perego third, Tommy Meyer 4th. Eddie Redner back there in spot number 5. The yellow lights come on. The 09 car, Jim Palmer. Palmer in trouble. Just coming out of turn number 2, Jimmy 12-lap dirt sportsman feature event. Billy Green holds on to the lead. Bobby Knight, this sportsman feature. Don't forget the Novice Street Stalkers will be up right after this. Caution lights get turned out. Olsen Todd Oldsmobile achieve a pace car. Swings down to the inside. We're set to go back to racing. Dirt sportsman style. Billy Green brings the green machine down there in turns number 3 and 4. Coming out of turn number 4 this time. The green flag flies. We go back to racing. Green on the outside. Bobby Knight knows it's do or die right now as he drops down to the inside line against Green coming out of turn number 2. Tommy Meyer making some tracks on the inside. Going down the back straightaway. Tommy Meyer, the International Motor Plazas car, picks up spot number 3 against Tom Perego. Perego back there in spot number 4. Eddie Redner rounds out the top 5. Time winding down. The clock is ticking, and here comes Bobby Knight. Knight slingshots down to the inside, picks up the number 1 spot, and Bobby Knight, the RK Express car, now your new race leader. Billy Green goes a little bit too high, going down the back straightaway. Tommy Meyer gets by on the inside for spot number 2. Meyer back there in the number 2 spot. Green down 3rd, Tom Perego 4th. Eddie Redner on the outside of Lenny Bogart for spot number 5. Coming up on 2 to go. 2 more laps to go this time around. Bobby Knight out of West Milford, Connecticut. The RK Manufacturing, RK Express car. Holds on at a number 1 spot. Second spot is now Tommy Meyer. 3rd, Billy Green. 4th place, it's Tom Perego, followed by Eddie Redner and Lenny Bogart. Bobby Ryder rides back there in spot number 7. Carol Birchwell 8th. Nonemaker is 9th, and Kevin Van Valkenburg in spot number 10. White flag comes out this time. One more time around for Bobby Knight. Watch Tommy Meyer on the outside. inside. Meyer knows that time is running out. 1/2 lap to go, and he does not have the horsepower to close the gap on Bobby Dyke. Checkered flag getting set to fly. They take him down there in turns number 3 and 4. The winner of the second 12-lap Tire House Dirt Sportsman feature event out of West Milford, Connecticut, the number 18 of Bobby Knight. Second spot is Tommy Meyer, third Tom Durango, fourth Billy Green, followed by Eddie Redder. Sell the winner once again. Feature event winners. So at this time, as we want to hold up the Dirt Sportsman feature winner, we're going to send him back there to the infield, and all the victory lane shots will be taken after the next feature event. Novice Street Stock feature event coming out next, and here's Rick to tell you.
Are scheduled to go here in the first of two 10-lap Novice Street Stock feature events as they head down towards turns number 3 and 4. The Olsen Todd Oldsmobile Achieva pace car sets them free between turns number 3 and 4. So the Olsen Todd Oldsmobile Achieva pace car sets them free. Rocky Picciano, Eddie Gunch, side by side to get set to come off of turn number 4. The green flag flies, and away we go. Down the front straightaway, 3 abreast. Look, you bumpy, bangy, boomy, down in turns number 1 and 2. Everybody keeps it all going in the right direction, except for the 2 at the tail end of the field here. As the caution light down. Number 1, Tommy Mills sits back in row number 2 with Tom Cannizzaro. It's also out around the Speedway. The Olsen Todd Oldsmobile Achieva pace car sets them free down between turns number 3 and 4. Eddie Gunch, Rocky Picciano, side by side to get set to come off of turn number 4 this time. Green flag flies, and away we go. Eddie Gunch down the front straightaway, powers away to the number 1 position with Tommy Mill following right behind. John Platania and Rocky Picciano doing side-by-side battle for spot number 3. It's Platania down low, Picciano up high. Platania now grabs the spot away. Here comes Tony Koneski, making it 3 wide as they head into turn number 3. Tony Koneski down on the low side with the Joy Radiator 47. Grabs number spot 4 away as up to turn number 4 as they come by. Race leader Eddie Gunch holds on to about a 3-car length advantage over Tommy Mill, heading down towards turn number 1. John Platania rounds out the top 3 running order with Tony Koneski fourth, and now Tommy Cannizzaro trying to do battle with Scott Mill for spot number 5 off of turn number 2. Cannizzaro right there on the back bumper as they head down into turn number 3 right now. Tommy Mill closing in quickly on Eddie Gunch now as we head down between. Look out for Scott Kerr. Kerr and Rutherford get together just a little bit. They both get sideways down there in turn number 4. Caught sideways. Scott Kerr in a 442 with the right rear flat. Oldsmobile Achieva pace car sets him free up in turn number 3. Eddie Gunch and Tommy Mill know it's time to go racing, this time off of turn number 4. Tommy Mill was closing in very quickly before the caution came out. Green flag will tell what's going to happen here as it flies off at turn number 4. Tommy Mill right there for spot number 2 behind Eddie Gunch, and here comes Tony Koneski. Koneski now following suit up on the high side with the car number 47. To the high side of Platania. The high side's the fastway right now. Tommy Mill now begins to challenge Eddie Gunch as they head down towards turn number 3. Off of turn number 4, Eddie Gunch holds on to the number 1 spot down off of turn number 4. Good side-by-side for spot number 2, but Tommy Mill powers down and holds on to the spot. John Platania back in spot number 3. Here comes Scott Mill. Mill now enters the top 4 running order, and Tony Koneski rounding out the top 5. Off of turn number 2, down the back straightaway. Tommy Mill closing in quickly on race leader Eddie Gunch as they go between turns number 3 and 4. Gunch holding on to the number 1 spot by the narrowest of margins right now as Mill now swings it down to the low side. They come by the start-finish line. Gunch holds about a half a car length advantage. Mill keeps it down on the low side. The A&S Ignition sponsored number 11 holds on to the number 2 spot by about a bumper right now. Off of turn number 2, John Platania wait for either one of them to make a mistake as he's going to challenge now down towards turn number 3 on the inside. Mill still trying to grab the number 1 spot. Not quite enough. Look out up in turn number 3. Tom Mill going in a little bit too hard. Gets it around the wrong way up there. Everybody else able to get around it with the caution flag out on the Speedway. Senior 8th, Rocky Picciano 9th, Win Bill U 10th. Tommy Mill 11th. Tom Pacier 12th. Scott Kerr 13th. And Emerson Gargain and the 777 coming back out onto the Speedway. So the track is now clear. Caution lights get turned out. The Olsen Todd Oldsmobile Achieva pace car sets them free up in turn number 3. Eddie Gunch, your number 1 man at the point, now knows it's time to go back green flag racing, this time off of turn number 4. The green flag waves down the front straightaway. Eddie Gunch hanging on to the number 1 spot. John Platania trying to close the gap, and here comes Scott Mill. Mill, car number 17, holds on to spot number 3 right now. Closing in very, very quickly on second place man John Platania. Off of turn number 2, Eddie Gunch hangs on to the number 1 spot down the back straightaway. Platania closing in very, very quickly, and here comes Tony Koneski. Koneski with the Chevy Duster, number 47, holds on to spot number 4 right now, trying to close in on number 3, man Scott Mill off of turn number 4. Tony Koneski now grabs the number 3 spot away. 8 laps down and 2 to go for race leader Eddie Gunch.
The visitors dugout, and Jeff thinking that maybe you have to go back to the California trip in May. The last time you put together 2.
Off of turn number 4 right now. Eddie Gunch, your number 1 man. 8 laps have been completed. Make it 9 this time off of turn number 4. White flag flies for race leader Eddie Gunch now down towards turn number 1. John Platania gonna try and make a last lap ditch effort up in turn number 1 and 2 right now. This evening, last Saturday evening, towed all the way up to the Lebanon Valley Speedway, picked up the feature win in the Outsiders race. Once again turned out around the Speedway. The beautiful 1992 Olsen Todd Oldsmobile Achieva pace car sets them free up between turns number 3 and 4. Eddie Gunch knows it's time to go racing. 9 laps have been completed. One more time around from race leader Eddie Gunch off of turn number 4. John Platania set to make the challenge. Dives down to the low side off of turn number 4. Not enough racing field there as they head down between turns number 1 and 2. Platania now looks up to the high side as they go between turns number 1 and 2. Tries to close the gap between himself and Eddie Gunch off of turn number 2. Got the momentum. Powers it down the back straightaway. Closes in very, very quickly down towards turn number 3. 2 more left-hand turns. Platania's got to make his move now. Looks down on the low side. No go this time. Dual checkered flags are flying. Who's it going to be, ladies and gentlemen? A Poughkeepsie, New York, the winner, the 51 of Eddie Gunch. Second is John Platania. Third, Tony Koneski. Fourth, Scott Mill. And fifth, Tom Canizero.
The SRO Monster Truck Championship race brought to us by the CarQuest Auto Parts Store. That'll take place on July the 24th. And some monster trucks will be on display at Plate Dogs all throughout the afternoon on July the 24th.
Right now, Paul Doty out of Slate Hill, New York, your pole setter, gets ready to take starter Kenny Marshall's green flag. This time they get ready to go side-by-side racing off of turn number 4. Green flag set to fly, waves high and proud. Doty powers away to the number 1 spot, down towards turn number 1. Donnie Mill right behind car number 24 takes over the number 2 spot with Kenny Pettit and Edgar Hedges now doing battle for spot number 3. Pettit grabs the spot away with Hedges now falling back to 4th, and Pat Kelly rounding out the top 5 running order. Billy Dunn just 1 spot out with the International Motor Plaza 26 back in spot number 6. In between turns number 3 and 4, Paul Doty out of Slate Hill, New York, the Rocky Acres Farms, number 74, holds on to the number 1 spot down between turns number 1 and 2. Donnie Mill trying to close the gap with Pettit now down on the low side. Billy Dunn now sneaks into the top 5 running order. Gets by Kelly. Here comes Tommy Cook, the Whispering Pine 79. Now trying to close in on 5th place man Billy Dunn as they head down between turns number 3 and 4. Bumper to bumper to bumper they go between turns number 1 and 2 right now. Odie Doty, Paul Doty up on the front end right now, hanging on to a very comfortable margin, about 3 car lengths ahead. Now as they head between turns number 1 and 2. Doty, not yet a feature winner in 1992, would like to break that streak right now as Ken Pettit and Donnie Mill do side-by-side battle for spot number 2. Pettit down on the low side, trying to take over the number 2 spot as they head down into turn number 3. Ken Pettit, your number 2 man right now as Donnie Mill falls back to 3rd. Edgar Hedges is 4th, and Billy Dunn rounding out the top 5. Paul Doty making his way down towards turn number 1. Caution out around the Speedway. His points.
And that caused
So Paul Doty out of Slate Hill, New York, he's your number 1 man right now. Kenny Pettit out of Mailpack, New York, with the Arrowway 92. Olsen Todd, Oldsmobile Achieva pace car, lets him free in turn number 3. Paul Doty and Ken Pettit know it's time to go back to racing, this time off of turn number 4. Doty's led since the drop of the green flag. Very strong so far. A few sparks before the caution. Only time will tell. Green flag flies side by side. They come down towards turn number 1 right now. Paul Doty powers away to the number 1 spot. Pettit now looks up to the high side. Ken Pettit out of Mahopac, New York, likes to run the high side. Got the room he needs now as he powers off of turn number 2. Says, see you later, Paul. I'm taking over the number 1 spot. Down towards turn number 3. Doty right there, not giving up the fight. Holding on to the runner-up position with Donnie Mill 3rd. Now Billy Dunn enters the top 4 running order. Dunn now grabs spot number 4 away from Edgar Hedges off the turn. Number 4 closing in very, very quickly on third place man Donnie Mill as they head down towards turn number 1 and 2. Now knows it's time to go racing here off of turn number 4. Green flag flies and down the front straightaway we go. And Pettit from the number 1 spot hangs on to it right now with Tommy Cook and Billy Dunn doing battle for spot number 4 down in between turns number 1 and 2. Cook keeps it up on the high side. Paul Doty now tries to close the gap between himself and Ken Pettit off of turn number 2. Ken Pettit holds on to the number 1 spot by a narrow margin as Paul Doty now right there on the back bumper. Keep your eyes on Tommy Cook. Cook got the whispering flying 7-9 up to the high side. Working real well here. Very, very fast. Paul Doty and Tommy Cook battled out for spot number 2 with the caution flag out around the speedway. Green flag set to fly this time off of turn number 4. Ken Pettit hangs on to the number 1 spot. Here comes Paul Doty down to the low side. Down and out Tommy Cook who keeps the yard. Groove working to perfection here this evening. Powers down off of turn number 2, down the back straightaway. Closes in on race leader Ken Pettit. Now works up the high side towards turn number 3. Pettit down on the other side. Tommy Cook up high. Getting set to come off of turn number 4. 8 laps down and 2 to go. It's still. Powers off of turn number 4 on the high side. Tries it down hard on the high side. Pettit keeps out. Two, bing and a bang and a boom. Now he drives it up to some. Easily brings it back down from first to last in less than a half a turn. Meanwhile, Tommy Cook is lonesome off of turn number 4. Down the front straight away. Tommy Cook holds on to the number 1 spot. Look out up in turn number 4. We got a couple of them around up there right now. Turn green flag flies and away we go down the front straightaway. Tommy Cook up on the high side. Look at him go now. Number spot number 3 is Billy Dunn. Timmy Green get it together. Just three done back and forth. Doty trying desperately, trying to close the gap between himself and race leader Tommy Cook. Number 3 and 4. Looks like it's going to be 2